All right, so I haven't done this for a long time, but I kind of wanted to show some of my progress on my last project I was working on. It's been kind of an on and off thing. I get motivated and do a lot, and then I get bored and don't do anything. But these are just some blueprints of my character controller, all functional now, all abilities work. This is the functions for taking damage. These are the functions for using special abilities. This is the initialization, which causes the UI to initialize and wait before you can move the character, depending on where you initialize, where you come in. This is all my debugging crap. And then this is all the buttons and the IA controls. This is how the character actually looks, and these are all the components that I have. Instead of going with markers, I actually did shot containers for each shot location because I found it to be a whole lot more reliable. So I was trying to get something that was kind of twitchy where you could move quickly. Um, as crazy as this looks, it's my animation blueprint, but it works very, very well. It's very responsive and very fast, and I've tested it under a ton of conditions. I've seen ones that look a whole lot worse, so I'm not going to mess with it. This is my camera manager. When the game starts, the character actually spawns the camera, and I got this idea from one of the Cobra Code videos that I watched. But most cameras either lock onto the player or they follow the player. This has a little bit of sensing which direction the player is facing, and it leads the player slightly, so the player is off center, but the majority of what's in front of the player is on the screen. And when you turn or jump or bounce backwards, then it goes to another side. This is just a silly example of one of the pickups. I've actually designed all the pickups and all the power-ups in the game. So what it does when it starts is it references its parent, and then it looks at the save game file with the player. This is all the different pickups that exist in the game. It finds itself, and if the player already has it, it deletes itself and says, hey, I've already been picked up. So it's kind of self-regulating. It frees up the memory, and it does that on a level by level basis because the save is persistent in the game instance. So I'm going to load things up and run around a little bit just so I can show people what it looks like. So everything's fully functional. A lot of the background assets I've either designed myself or I've picked up from different Unreal packs. So this is my character. Right now I have this set so I can use all the abilities in the game, but I don't have all the power-ups in the game. So I can jump, can turn into a little Morphe ball, roll around, duck, all that fun stuff. I was using kind of all mathematically designed materials for my piece of the background, which what you're seeing is white. It's done with a non-shadow casting directional light facing towards the player from the camera, which provides kind of an ambient background light. And then I'm using either point lights that are tied to objects or placed in the levels to kind of give the rest of the light. So that way it gets dark and it gets light, and you have shadows and reflections on the player and areas of different colored lights, but at the same time, it never gets so black that you can't see. Those are the abilities where you can cling on the walls. So if you go and touch each one of these, it activates till it opens up the key to the next level. One other thing I wanted to show, let me get over here. All the UI pieces at the bottom are all designed and working, though I'm extremely unhappy with them. I need to redo it, and I need to make it more intuitive. This is an example of a pickup. So you pick it up, and it'll tell you what you picked up, how it works, and what buttons it uses. So now I can jump significantly. Not just jump higher, but if I hold, I kind of launch a little bit higher too. Just an example of a pickup. All enemies are finished and functional. If I go over here, I have two little hazards that I can kind of take damage from. The player I have set up as default with full armor and full health, so I don't take much damage. But you can use abilities. That's my heal. You see the UI at the bottom end. And if I use my heal when I'm full heal, it'll give me, let's see. Actually, when I saved /save, I don't have all the abilities. And that's kind of it as a start. These are all the sprites are 2D. They're from Ansimuz. I'm really happy with the pieces I could get from him and how everything works. I'm going to kind of keep developing this part-time. We'll look for people to kind of test it out. Thanks.